Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. We in the building. I know it's Tuesday. We didn't have a show yesterday. I'm sorry about that. I had an appointment that I completely forgot about until like Sunday, and I was like, hold on. It was at 2:30, and I was like, I could try to have the show, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But we're here today. We have a lot to catch up on. There's going to be so much stuff that we don't get to talk about. If there's something that y'all want to talk about that I might miss, let me know, because the way that I structure the show today, I try to get all the stuff in. It's some more stuff though. Oh, even when I was preparing the show, I was like, oh, I want to talk about some other stuff. We can talk about it tomorrow. Peace to everybody in the chat. Reparations Nation, Red Six, All Still Great, Eric Thomas. I hope y'all had a really great holiday, and I hope y'all are having a great Tuesday. So let's get into the show. Um, I always forget what's on the I guess the schedule for the show until I pull it up. But yeah, we got to talk about George E. Johnson, the pioneering Black hair care entrepreneur who created Ultra Sheen and Afro Sheen, has died. Now, of course, we all grew up watching um, Soul Train. Soul Train was my favorite show. I seriously thought that I was going to be a Soul Train dancer. I really thought that I was going to be a Soul Train dancer. George E. Johnson was one of the biggest um, sponsors of Soul Train. Like, if it wasn't for Afro Sheen, Soul Train probably would have it wouldn't have existed. I found this picture of him on the cover of Black Enterprise magazine with all of his products. This is so dope. Um, just imagine, this is a Black man who has his own hair care conglomerate. He's on the cover of a Black business magazine. We just don't have that anymore. It just opened up my eyes. Like, we are losing so much. We are really losing a lot. And George Johnson was like 90 years old, I think. It's like a lot of our institutions are dying with our elders. And it is like very jarring when you think about it. Here is an ad for Afro Sheen. I'm sure everybody has seen this.
Naturally beautiful, radiant, she is Black essence, and her beautiful natural hair is her crowning glory. Today's beautiful queen uses Afro Sheen. Afro Sheen concentrated shampoo pampers and conditions as it cleans. Afro Sheen conditioner and hairdress is a royal feast for your hair. Afro Sheen comb easy places every hair at your command. And Afro Sheen hairspray for sheen adorns your beautiful crown. Yes, your natural expression of pride is beautifully expressed with Afro Sheen. Afro Sheen, beautiful products for a beautiful people. Naturally beautiful, radiant, she is Black essence, and her beautiful natural hair is her crowning glory. Today's beautiful queen uses Afro Sheen. Afro
I sorry y'all. I got distracted. I was trying to see if Afro Sheen um I was trying to see if Afro Sheen was still around. And it's still around, but I think it might be owned by some Indians. I think it might be owned by some Indians. We keep selling our hair care companies to Indians. So yes, Red Six, we're losing recipes. Reparations Nation, I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna look right now. I, oh my god! I'm not gonna share it, but this is very, very dope. Do you want me to share it? See, when I was in my teens, in my 20s, I was a model. I don't have any of the pictures from it, but did y'all watch Flavor of Love? If y'all watch Flavor of Love and y'all remember Sirius, I did a photo shoot with her when I was in high school. So I was like, if I had a little less self-worth at the time, I would have been a booty model for sure. I used to be really good friends of the owner of Black Men's Magazine as well, and he always tried to get me on. He always tried to get me to in front of the camera. I used to work behind the camera as like a production assistant for like some of the photo shoots with him and Facet, and he always used to try to get me in front of the camera, and yeah, which is strange. I don't know. I've just always been kind of like shy about that. Um, hold on one second. Y'all, y'all all in my DMs. Yeah, Flavor of Love was hilarious, but Sirius, she was a model in Atlanta. We did a couple photo shoots together. We had the same photographer, but this all happened before I went to college. And when I got to college, I like a lot changed. Anyways, let me get back on let me get back on subject. I kind of want to talk about Afro Sheen. Uh Dermatropics. What is Dermatropics? Dermatropics. Hold on one second. I know I'm gonna edit it out. I didn't see it on that picture. I don't think anybody else saw it, but I'm gonna edit it out in post. Um, sorry, y'all. I'm switching gears. I didn't mean to, but you know, I don't want to keep going into this. But anyways, Afro Sheen is definitely owned by a white company now. Angelica Lena, hello. Yeah. But it says that his ex-wife sold the Afro Sheen company. So I just remember Afro Sheen smelling really, really good. You can still buy Ultra Sheen. I'm pretty sure you can still buy Ultra Sheen in its original packaging. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Ultra Sheen is still the same. Like they rebranded Afro Sheen though, so it's not the same. But I don't use Ultra Sheen. I use Blue Magic. Anyways, moving on. We know this weekend was the 4th of July. It was on Saturday. I'm sure everybody went out and had a great time because it is our holiday. I saw that there was a lot of conversation about should Black Americans celebrate the 4th of July, and it's just like so funny that this is even a conversation because people can come here, and I had a video. I thought I saved it, but people can come here fresh off a boat, become naturalized citizens, wave the American flag, and call themselves American, and they can celebrate the 4th of July, but the people whose ancestors paved the way for them to be here aren't allowed to. Like I don't know. I've never been that militant. I didn't grow up that way. Like I grew up knowing that the 4th of July is my holiday as well. So let's listen to Dwan B talk about that.
America 250. Now, was slavery going on when America started? Yes. But there was also a lot of freedom going on too, a lot of building. You had Benjamin Banneker, who designed the city of Philadelphia and also who designed Washington, D.C. And Benjamin Banneker designed D.C. with an alignment of the constellation Virgo. You have minds like John Hanson that helped construct the United States of America. You have free men like James Forten. And Forten was born a free man in 1762, went to fight in the Revolutionary War as a 14-year-old, captured by the British. They were getting ready to sell him into slavery. He bounced and he walked back to Philadelphia, only to become one of the greatest the sales on the ship. That was his company, and built massive amounts of wealth in Philadelphia and helped build Philadelphia's black upper class, black aristocracy, including Richard Allen, founder of the First AME Church. And you look at cities like Philadelphia between 1795 and 1825, 1830, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, these cities, St. Louis, they all had really big black middle classes. Shipping industry in Philadelphia, steamboat industry in the Midwest, and black folks were making so much money in the early 1800s, they had to pay sometimes upwards of $500 a year for a freedom card. You had James Hemingway, composer, free man, Frank Johnson, free man, composer. You had a lot of these things that were going on at the same time in the beginning of the United States, but you'll get somebody that came through Ellis Island in 1900 and had no hand in building none of this, tell you that you're not an American and they're American and you're not, you're just a slave. That's not all the way 100% true. The black person's relationship with America is very complicated, but it's also deeper than slavery. I encourage people to look this up. You may ask, what happened to those black towns and cities in the early 1800s? Well, during the Jacksonian rebellions, when Andrew Jackson took over as president, a lot of white folks got together and just rioted and burned a lot of that stuff down. State-sanctioned violence to burn down these black upper middle class cities and towns. Regardless of that, we stayed through it. We stayed true to it. And because they burned it down doesn't mean that we're not American. We are the builders. We build it, they burn it down, we build it again. Same way we're building right now. Happy America 250.
So yeah, I agree with everything that Dwan B had to say. I don't celebrate holidays at all, but I do enjoy a day that Amir has off work. We can spend time with the whole family, with our kids, and yeah. If you are a Black American, you want to celebrate the 4th of July, it is your holiday, and nobody can tell you that you should be able to. Red 6, I grew up every year getting an Old Navy flag shirt, and I almost got one this year. Well, not for myself, because I'm not about to wear that. I'm not gonna wear a flag shirt, only because I was wearing it when I was a kid. I kind of feel like it's weird now if I'm still wearing it. But I got Amina this shirt. It's so cute. It's like a red and white ringer shirt, and it says America's Princess on it. And I really wanted her to wear it on the 4th of July, but she did not. She did not. And I got a seam like this USA Team USA shirt, and I wanted him to wear that on 4th of July, but yeah, he didn't. Asim has actually been wearing the same shorts for like the past 4 days. He won't take them off. Yeah, he don't care. He'll take a bath. He'll change his underwear, but he won't change the shorts. So I probably should have got him more pairs of those particular shorts. Reparation Nation says, I didn't celebrate it and I don't really now, but I don't S on those that do, unless they Sambos, of course. Hey, Spud McKenzie. Hey, Nancel Speaks. Welcome. Angelica Lena says, our people had some Freedom Jubilee holidays this weekend, like the one in New York City this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, too. Really? That's awesome. Because you see what they did to Juneteenth. So I mean, honestly, I feel like we could celebrate every week. We can celebrate every month. Like Black people can celebrate every single day if they want to. And who gonna check us? Nobody. Did y'all see one of, I don't know what army military band this is, but they performed September. Listen to this.
Remember how the stars stole the night
Yeah, the Freedom 250 events look really terrible to me, and that right there, no me y'all could have found any other song to sing. Y'all should not have sang that one. That is terrible. Are you okay? Go brush your teeth. Go brush your teeth. Amina has a cavity on one tooth. It's so crazy because Asim eats terribly. Perfect teeth. No cavities, nothing. Amina eats everything. She loves vegetables. She eats meat. Very balanced diet. This girl has a cavity. They want to pull the tooth out of her mouth because they said that it's so eroded her tooth that they're not going to be able to save it. Moving on. Reparation Nation says, hey, as long as they don't stink, let them wear them. Yeah, I mean, he's a boy, so it's kind of like he's not going outside because it's way too hot. And yeah, they haven't really been going outside that much because it's just way too hot. And the mosquitoes are they're on a mission this summer for some reason. So the kids we've been taking them like to the playground and stuff like that, but they haven't really been going outside in front of our house. So if he stays in the house, like I don't really bother him about it. I know the shorts don't stink, but he just likes them. They're kind of cool. They're real cool. They're like a bandana print, but they have like white around the edges. So I mean, they are very, very cool. So I understand why he wants to keep wearing them. Eric Thomas says, wow, that was extremely bad. Reparation Nation says white folks got to stop it. They literally must be stopped. I mean, thank you, Angelica Lena. Fair use. I don't think that they know that they're bad. I think they hear Maurice White singing the song and they're like, oh, I sound like this. No, you don't. Red 6, I mean, she didn't hit nothing. Red 6 says she got kid teeth, they'll fall out anyway. Yeah. And we had scheduled her an appointment to get the tooth pulled, but like at the last minute we weren't able to take her. So this was like, I don't know, this might have been like last month. Yeah, it was last month. It was probably like early June. And she wasn't complaining about it. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like we'll just ignore it. But we're probably gonna have to get the tooth pulled before she goes back to school. Because like sometimes it hurts, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I'm not I was gonna say something else. I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, did y'all hear about everything that was going on during the NDC during the 250? Because they had to evacuate because there was a storm, like a really bad storm that happened. So everybody had to like leave the area where they were having all the celebrations. And apparently, some people tried to evade the storm by staying in the African American History Museum. This person said that they were stuck in it with 5,000 MAGA supporters. These are in the American History Museum. I'm trying to stay dry. I just feel like if God ain't trying to tell you something, like all these, hold on, Red 6, we're gonna get to that. Yeah, I feel like God is telling these people, like, 250 years of this country, y'all still haven't made amends for the things that you did to Black people. We're going to make it storm, and now you're forced to have to wait in the museum. And you see these people. This is the problem I have. They're just standing on the sitting on the floor. Why y'all not gonna go in and walk around the museum? Y'all already there. Y'all don't want to learn something new about your country that you're performing. I mean that you're that not you're performing, that you're participating in the celebrations for. You don't want to learn anything new. These people are just squatting in the museum, in the lobby. Well, anyways, we have Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana taking pictures with Nicki Minaj, talking about Trump accounts are based, right? Nicki Minaj. Who's doing his social media? Who is doing his social media? Is she look a mess? She looks terrible. She looks so bad. I feel like I got to segue into Essence Fest, y'all. I wasn't even trying to get into Essence Fest this early into the show, but seeing Jeff Landry really just messed me up. First of all, he is a unrepentant racist. Why do all of these racist Republicans like Nicki Minaj so much? I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Why do they like Nicki Minaj so much? We're gonna have to get into the Essence Fest, y'all. We're gonna have to talk about it. Eric Thomas says they both look terrible. He looks sweaty. He's wearing a full white linen suit. Let's see him. Come back later. You know I'm doing my show. Close the door. Red Six says she's their Negro whisperer. She don't have no control over the Negroes. She do not. Maybe the LGBTQ ones, but not the rest of us. She's a tether. She is a tether. Oops, hold on. Eric Thomas says, right, he's wearing the middle of 90-degree weather summer. We're in a heat wave, and he got on a full white linen suit. Reparation Nation says they don't like her. She's just the only Black they can be around to prove they aren't racist, and it's not working. You love Ernest. Hello. Nikki's on her Republican arc, so of course they're gonna get her. They're gonna use her to claim they are not racist. It ain't working though. It's actually making her look racist. It's making her look racist to be around these people. So yeah, let's get into the Essence Fest because I've seen so many videos. I saw a video of this man mad because they were, I guess, holding the line or something at the convention center. So people were waiting to get in. It was like crowds of people waiting to get into the convention center, but they couldn't. And small business vendors weren't able to, sell to the people like they would have been if they would have just let the people into the convention center. It was like, of course we knew it was going to be ran terribly. We've been telling people for the last year, do not go to Essence Fest. Do not go to Essence Fest. But these people still went to Essence Fest. Why are people so hard-headed? Y'all go to Essence. We talked about this for the past year. Don't go. Don't support them. They don't respect you. And then people go this year and complain the whole time. Like, what can we do for you? We don't care. It's the same thing with the Asian stores and restaurants boycott. Like, come on now. If something happens to you, you want to complain, don't come to us because we already told you what we were on. Eric Thomas says, I'm trying to work and watch you at the same time today. Don't. If you can only do one, don't watch me. Do not watch me. So I guess she went to Essence Fest and she has something to say.
I went to Essence Fest for the first time as a Black American woman. As someone who has always dreamed of going to Essence Fest ever since I was a little girl, I finally was able to go this year. And I would also like to disclose that I love fashion, I love beauty, I love connecting with other people, other women. I love networking, I love business, I love entertainment, and I love having a good time. And I had to disclose that so you can understand how I experience Essence Fest and why I have particular opinions about it. So I'm in the Baton Rouge area. So me and my homegirl, we drove down Friday at around, I made it down there maybe like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the only thing we had scheduled for Friday was the Friday concert, which was with Cardi B. Now, when I go out to have a good time, I am used to Baton Rouge club culture. I'm used to going out and getting loose. I'm used to going out and being ratchet. I'm used to going out and when the DJ got the vibe and the energy high, the vibe stay there. It stay high. We don't go down. It stay high. The concert Friday. Now, before we go to the concert, we pre-gaming, we, listening to, jigging music in the room, to get us hyped, to get us excited about the concert. And it's like when we did.
Let me stop her right here. This girl thought that she was going to go and have a Louisiana experience at Essence Fest. That's what it sounds like. She feels like she about to go and have fun, not knowing that it's not the same. She ain't never been, but she clearly not. Well, I don't know. She might be on TikTok. These people are hard-headed. If people are telling you your money is not going to be respected in a certain establishment and you still go, we don't really care about what you're complaining about. Reparation Nation says, and they got what they deserve down there. Have at it. Couldn't care less. Right. Spud McKenzie says, India Ari say you can yell as high as you want, but all won't listen. I wanted to talk about India Ari, but I kind of like all of the discourse. It just at this point, it's kind of. I keep saying everybody's not going to go, but it's actually depressing the number of people who just don't want better, and they don't care. Like the stuff that Trick Daddy said about her, the stuff that Uncle Luke said. This is the problem with Florida people. Florida people have been conditioned by all of the immigrant people. Well, not even all Florida people. It's really South Florida. South Florida people have been conditioned by all of the immigrant groups down there. So now they act just as tribal as all of the other immigrant groups down there. They feel like Young Miami is like their spokesperson. She's like their queen right now because she's putting on for South Florida. So they don't want to hear nothing that anybody else may have to say that might be critical of Young Miami, because when Young Miami wins, South Florida wins, Uncle Luke wins, Trick Daddy wins. That's how they're perceiving everything. They don't care if they're winning for something that's not positive. And that type of sentiment, it permeates through our culture, and they're just not going to elevate with the rest of us. They're not going to ascend because they are comfortable being right where they are. And if somebody is comfortable being where they are, don't move them. Don't move them, because they might try to pull you down there with them. That was a problem that I had with people in South Florida. They want you around them when you're not doing well or you're not at your best. But when you start coming up and doing better, they hate you for it. And they want to sabotage your success because they don't They don't want you doing better than them. And I think that's why a lot of people down there are okay with the scamming and the boosting culture. But I also, but even speaking about that, I also have some thoughts about how like that song might be the only song that's out right now that actually has any type of critical analysis of the state of our economy in our country right now. As bad as that is, like that song is actually really reflective of what's going on right now. The scamming and the boosting. I mean, the economy is terrible. Black people don't really, especially lower income Black people, do not have many opportunities to make money. There aren't any. You go to your local Popeyes, it's no Black people working in there. So it's kind of like this is what people have to resort to in order to sustain their livelihoods. And that is one thing that I can say that could be a positive, because the problem with our music today is that it's not analyzing the current state of politics. That is really the only song that we have right now that is, even if it's doing it in a way that glorifies that type of behavior. Sorry, y'all. I got off topic so bad. Spud McKenzie says Target, but none of them do that tough talk when it matters in Miami. No, because like I said, they're happy being low vibrational. It's like you could be, and this is what really made me mad about being in Miami. You could be the rich person among all of your friends. You could be the famous person among all of your friends. Nobody around you is doing anything but mooching off of you, and they're all low vibrational. They don't have nothing going on. They have nothing to offer you. And you just allow it to happen because you don't want to ascend to the heights that you are supposed to be, because you're fine being a product of your environment if you have all of these low vibrational people around you trying to prop you up. That's how it is in Miami. It's like, oh well, I don't want more. Well, I do want more, but I'm too afraid to go for more. So I'm just gonna be down here with all these low vibing people who only want me around because they're mooching off of me. I don't even relate to them. That's how it is down there. Trick Daddy was majorly disrespectful in his video. He was very disrespectful. He said something like India Arie was shaped like him. No, she's not. She's not shaped like you. And she is a beautiful woman. And she's only promoted positivity through her music. She wanted not even just Black women, but all women, all people to feel good about themselves. And I know that's hard for people that do not love themselves. They don't have that self-love. It's hard for them to accept that other people do, and they want that for them. But I don't think she deserved everything that Uncle Luke or Trick Daddy said about her. And I'm sure she didn't take it personally, because those are broken people. Like, you can't take criticism from people whose opinions you don't value, or people who don't even value themselves. Like, I don't care about how you would feel about me because I know how you feel about you. But it was still nasty. Reparations Nation says, I went to Essence one time, and that was when I lived in NOLA, and it was only because Prince, my favorite artist ever, was performing. That's it. I always wanted to go to Essence Fest, and but I always knew it was like an auntie type of thing, and I wasn't ready to go because I hadn't met like auntie criteria yet, so I wasn't really trying to go. And even when Girls Trip came out, I was like, dang, I still don't think I'm old enough to go to Essence Fest. I feel like now I would be old enough to go to Essence Fest, but I would not go. So it's like, I really wish I could have gone when it was at its height. But I had a girlfriend that went, and she was younger than me, actually. And she said she had so much fun. And it was because it was such like a grown and sexy vibe. Like, nobody was down there acting a fool. Nobody was down there shooting or trying to fight. And like that's my type of carrying on. Like I would like to go to something like that, but it's not the same. So I'm good on it. Reparation Nation says yes. If they don't want to grow, you can't force them to. I had to learn that with my family and being on code, sadly, right? And I went no contact with my whole family, so I already know how that is. People want to hold you back because they don't want you to grow, because they don't want you to be what they feel like is better than them. They feel like it's going to make them look bad. I've never been that type of person. I've never been that type of person. Spud McKenzie says, my birthday is Memorial Weekend. I stopped going out because everyone would expect for me to pay. What's so crazy? That's your birthday. That's probably the one time of the year where you shouldn't have to pay for anything. Reparations Nation says she was too skinny for me back in Yonde, but hold on, you talking about India Ari was too skinny for you? Oh well, she was kind of skinny when she first came out, but she got thicker. She for sure got thicker. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. You Love Ernest says, I'm glad she didn't take back her comments either, like so many other artists would have when faced with that type of backlash. The problem with people on the internet is they respond to what they think you said. They don't respond to what you said. So I saw what she said. She made a comment on somebody else's post. In their post, they were calling to boycott, and she responded. She didn't say anything about boycotting. They turned it into something that it wasn't. And every like response that I've seen to her, they were not addressing what she said. And that's what happens on the internet. They won't address what you said. They will just make up what they think you said. And I think that there needs to be like in every city, people, it's not going to be me, maybe your local library, but there needs to be like literary clubs for adults. And it could be where, you kind of return to the basics of reading. I mean, you may be a functional reader, but reading comprehension, vocabulary, these types of things need to be relearned, especially for a lot of adults, because you're hopping on Twitter and Instagram getting angry about something that you don't understand. The words might be too difficult for you to understand. The way that they're put together, you don't get. No, we need to get back to the basics. Because, I mean, it's like with Black, I don't even want to say this, but it seems like for a lot of us, ignorance is bliss. Like you're out of school, so you feel like you don't have to learn anymore. We already know that your power is in your mind. All of us know this. So once you stop working that brain muscle and you start going even dumber than you were before, you're not going to be able to grow. You're going to be stuck in whatever situation you were in. You have to expand your mind. These people don't want to. They don't care. Reparations Nation says, I've told y'all several times that my brother called me radicalized and said we're not at war when I said we were. I knew then that I was on my own, other than the Black grassroots. I realized I was on my own when I converted to Islam. That's when I really realized. I was like, oh. I did, but I had a lot of people in my family that supported me. Well, even the people that I feel like didn't really support me for real, and they was just doing it to look okay, to for the appearance. I still had a lot of people in my family that really did support it. But the more that I learned and the more that I sought out self-knowledge, I could tell that my conversations were changing in a way that other people were not fully able to accept. And I just stopped talking. This is what I'm on now. Like, if you're not on it, then what are we going to discuss? We can't discuss anything, because if I'm on self-improvement, self-knowledge, and progression, and that's not, and you can't relate to that, then we're just going to move in different directions. I don't have time to try to bring people up with me. The only people I'm trying to bring up with me is Amina and Asim. That's it. You Love Ernest says, yeah, they'll just argue against what they wanted you to say because it's an argument they feel they can argue against. Exactly. Because if they try to argue against what you're actually saying, they lost. Spud McKenzie says, Stormy Wellington is a real person we all grew up with, and they embrace her as a win for us in Miami, which is crazy because I knew Stormy. I knew her in, I think, like 2009. And I only knew her because my roommate at the time was selling waist trainers for Stormy. And she actually believed in everything that Stormy was saying. But me and all my other friends, we knew that Stormy was a fraudulent person. We knew she was a scam artist. But my roommate didn't want to believe it because my roommate, she wasn't from Atlanta. So she was kind of green. She was one of those people that, like, in her town that she grew up in, like, she was like the hottest, and, you know, her family, you know, was affluent. So she was kind of like worshipped in a way. And those people, when they come to Atlanta, it's kind of like they get a culture shock because they don't realize that, like, it doesn't matter if you're pretty. It doesn't matter if you think you're somebody. Like, everybody here thinks they're somebody. So you're like a dime a dozen. So she was one of those people that kind of believed anything that somebody was going to tell her. And, you know, Stormy, she has the gift of gab. She really does. Stormy is really, really good at talking. And, but I'm really good at detecting a scam artist, and that is Stormy Wellington. And, did we talk about it? About how, she might be going to jail? She should be going to jail. That's where she belongs. Let's finish what this girl is talking about this Essence Fest. I'm gonna speed it up because she's talking slow and she's not getting to the point. She's not getting to the point. 1.5 might be too fast. Let's see.
Didn't made it to the concert. Our energy and vibe was up here, and then it went down here. I love Kiki Down, baby. Kiki, I listen to Kiki YouTube, her show on YouTube every day on a daily because she's a great host. She's a great interviewer.
She talking about Kiki, what's her name? Why don't I remember her name? Kiki. What? Y'all know who she's talking about. Why do I want to say Kiki White? That's not who she's talking about. I've been watching this lady movie every day. She's in I Love Boosters. What is her name? I guess she was Kiki Palmer. I guess she was a host for, like, this Friday night, the concerts on Friday night. I think so. I'm not sure.
But that segment of the concert, when I say it turned us down so bad, it turned us down so bad. And looking at the controversial conversations about, you know, the culture not being the same no more, and they bringing in like African culture and Caribbean culture, and it's not really Black American culture anymore. And I seen that I see that for myself at the concert because I could tell by the choice of music that the DJ decided to play. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if it's Black American culture, you should be playing at least line dances to keep people in the vibe, to keep people in the mood. You know what I'm saying? Why are you playing Juvenile, Back That Ass Up, and then you put on Drake? But like I said, I'm used to Baton Rouge club culture, to where if you playing Juvenile, Back That Ass Up, you need to at least drop another New Orleans song right after that, then another New Orleans song after that, and then another one, to keep that vibe going. But our energy eventually like turned down so many times. Like, you get excited about hearing a song that's gonna turn you up, but then they playing Drake. They playing something on the like the radio streaming type songs. Like, come on now. It felt like the concert, I ain't gonna lie, it felt like the concert took forever. And I'm gonna be honest, because I look at
let me stop her right there. It's a lot for me to unpack right here. These new DJs, they don't know how to keep our energy up because they don't have our energy. They just don't. They don't know. They don't have our energy. So it's impossible for them to try to keep it up. They're just playing whatever they think other people want to hear. Secondly, I'm starting to feel like this is like the plan. They're trying to disorient us and get us off of our path. That's really how I'm starting to feel. Especially like here in Atlanta, like after that Atlanta Beltline Fest where they had Toby and Busta Rhymes performing, I'm walking around my neighborhood, all I'm hearing is reggae. It's so weird. Like they're really trying to like disorient us so they can come in and rearrange our culture. And I feel like Essence Fest is like one of those ways that they're doing it. I saw this video of the current CEO of Essence, and it sounded like I couldn't find it, but it sounded like, what'd you say? Okay, you can do whatever you want, honey. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hit him back. Okay, if he hits you, I'm gonna hit him. Anyways, it sounded like the new CEO of Essence was saying that Essence Fest is probably not going to be in New Orleans next year. And I found that to be very, very interesting. Red 6 says, that's probably why I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen to the radio either. And it's because I feel like I'm being programmed. And they don't play any music that I want to listen to. The only time I listen to the radio, sometimes I listen to our local jazz station, but yeah, I don't really listen to the radio. Also, Gray says, "What are you saying that to me? Saying that Essence Fest might not be in New Orleans next year?" Let me see if I can find that video, because that's what it sounded like to me. Essence CEO. Because I did not save it. And when I was trying to find stuff, I could not find the video. And it wasn't Richelieu Dennis. It was somebody else. I guess they have a new the Essence magazine has a new CEO. And it was like a regular looking Black American man. I don't remember what his name was. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to find it. But yeah, I feel like this was probably like their last like hurrah. Like if this don't work, then we're gonna have to figure out something else. But Mackenzie says NPR is the only radio I catch just to hear them telling on each other in the dominant society. I used to listen to NPR so much. Oh my God. I used to love listening to Fresh Air. But yeah, I don't really listen to NPR that much anymore either. Let's finish what she got to say. This poor girl, she really thought that she was going to go to Essence and it was going to be like a great experience. Like she was going to get like her Louisiana experience. You know, the DJ that was at Essence Fest probably came from New York or something. You know, it wasn't nobody that was homegrown. It wasn't no New Orleans DJ. They playing Back That Ass Up. That was probably the only New Orleans song they played. Reparation Nation said, Essence Fest is like Red Lobster to me now. They got the non-FBA CEO. They clearly could have got one of us, so I boycott them now too. Missing endless shrimp, but oh well. I haven't been to Red Lobster in a while. I learned how to make them Cheddar Bay biscuits, and I have not been. Oh yeah. Reparation Nation. I got the email yesterday. The Never Ending Pasta Bowl. Yes, I'm definitely going there. I already put my little money aside to take Amina with me, because I have to plan these things ahead. I have to plan these things ahead, and I'm definitely taking Amina with me because she loves Red Lobster. I'm not Red Lobster. She loves Olive Garden, and she loves their salad. So me and her, we going to July 13th. We're gonna be in there. I cannot wait. Let's finish what she got to say though.
I'm big into entertainment. I love business. Every 15 minutes, I looked over into the stadium to see, if it was filling up, to see if it was empty. And I promise you, By the time Cardi B got on that stage, that stadium was packed to the capacity, full. Baby, Cardi B put on a goddamn show. Baby, Cardi B put on a goddamn show, bro. Cardi B put on a show. When I tell you, every time I got in the Uber after that concert, when I tell you the Uber driver was talking about, I heard Cardi B put on a show. I'm like, girl, she showed this. She was shaking that ass. But back to the concert.
That's the show you wanted to see? See, these are the type of people that'll definitely go to an Essence Fest, not caring if their money was being respected or their presence being there was actually they were actually happy that they were there. This like I said, everybody ain't gonna go.
Than that, besides that talk show segment in the beginning, I feel like if they would have just excluded that out, and if the DJs at Essence Fest, like especially like for the concert part of like performers like Cardi B, get people hype with hype music. You know what I'm saying? Like get people hype with hype music and keep that flow going. Like don't just, it was just too many times our energy was up and then it just got brought down too many times, and you can tell that DJ wasn't from that DJ wasn't Black American. I could assure you that. I know my music. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. And seeing Shamar on stage, that was pretty dope. That was dope. The people love Shamar. They went crazy for Shamar. That was freaking.
Shamar be booked and busy. Shamar was booked at the Keith Lee Family Day. They had Shamar performing. Ain't that crazy? Reparation Nation says, I do the same thing and it's gonna be epic. I can't wait. Y'all know I love me some Olive Garden. I don't even care. I don't care what anybody says about it. I love Olive Garden. Red 6 says, gotta leave some of these people in the Matrix. As a former shake dancer, I do not want to be, if I'm in the strip club, that's the atmosphere I want to see. If I'm outside the strip club, I don't want to see strip club activities. Back in my day, strippers kept that separate. Cardi B was a net negative for that whole industry. Because all she's doing is going on stage doing a whole stripper set. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. Red 6 says, where are all the legacy acts? That's what made Essence Fest vibrant. The only ones that I saw was they had George Clinton and P-Funk, which is Essence Fest does not have an identity anymore, because once they were purchased, they didn't just stick with the formula because they wanted to change the formula. They figured they could change the formula and keep the same audience. And then they changed the formula and the audience left. The audience trashed it and they tried to go back to the old formula, but they didn't realize that the audience changed. So, I think that they would do better if they were trying to market to older millennials and Gen X. But I don't know. A lot of these Black women, they like seeing stuff like Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. They want to see that, and I'm just not into it. I want to see somebody like Kim at Essence Fest. That's what I want to see. But I don't know. I'm not going to spend my money there anyway, so it's not for me. Reparation Nation says Shamar performing anywhere is diabolical. God bless him, but no, it's funny. It's really funny that we're in a space where somebody that is disabled like Shamar, clearly disabled, can go on a stage and perform for people and they love it. That is truly diabolical. It could only happen with Michael Jackson being deceased. That's all I gotta say. Reparation Nation says, that's exactly how I feel about all this drag queen story hour stuff. There was a time when that stuff was hidden and now they want to show the world. Keep that in the closet. It ain't for kids. I totally agree. And this is someone who grew up with drag queens and just LGBTQ people in general. My grandmother was like a gospel singer, so all of her friends were gay. So I was kind of like exposed to that as a child. And it was normal for me. But I was also never a child. I was an adult. I would never expose my children to that because they're actually kids. And there's a lot that they don't understand yet, and I want them to discover those things in due time. I don't want them to be overexposed before they even can conceptualize what these things mean. Because even trying to explain to Amina why a boy would be wearing makeup, that was kind of difficult for me. So yeah, things need to be separate. Like if you're deciding that you want to go to a strip club, you already know what you're about to, the experience you're about to encounter. If you're going to a concert, you know what? Let's move on. Reparation Nation says they see Cardi and Meg as empowering. So yeah, that there's that. I don't think so. I don't think so. What you mean, Lil Kim, Red Six? What you mean by that? I think Lil Kim was a lot more demure than Cardi and Meg. That's for sure. She was a lot more demure, and that was actually and back then Lil Kim wasn't truly a part of the mainstream until she kind of like calmed down. She didn't really become a part of the mainstream till like the 2000s. It's just like now we're seeing that the mainstream is just completely has turned into a place where it's like completely inappropriate for children. There's no safe spaces for children. There used to be music specifically for children. And no, Red Six, I'm talking about Kim. I'm talking about, hey girl, that Kim. That's who I'm talking about. When love calls your name. That's who I'm talking about. That Kim. That's who I would expect to see performing at Essence Fest. But yeah, like there's no music for kids. Like the first CD I ever owned was That's What Little Girls Are Made Of by Raven-Symoné. Like my kids, like they watch kid stuff, but like there's really not a lot of like Black kid centered stuff. Like Amina likes these girls on YouTube. Excuse me. Amina likes these girls on YouTube named Sakura and Safari or something like Sequoia and Safari or whatever, but they don't make music or anything. They just like play with toys on YouTube or something like that. She does like these little white girls that make music on YouTube, but I'm like, it's really not a lane for that. Because you know everything's changed so much. Like they don't have crisscross and stuff like that. So, and then a lot of adults, they don't really care about children anymore. So they don't try to temper their behavior in front of children. Like I said this other day on Twitter, like I see women walking around with their butts hanging out of their clothes every single day. They do not care if there are children around. They don't say, okay, well, let me cover myself up a little bit so I'm decent. No, people just don't care anymore. Reparation Nation says Lil Kim had filth in her lyrics, but it was hidden unless you wanted to hear it. Like the drag queens, gays, and general strippers and all that was. These chicks today just say, I eat booty out loud. Yeah, and it's very jarring. There's just a lack of decency completely. Red Six says that's the point. They want kids to do adult things so they can take advantage of them. Exactly. They do. And they have been trying to do this for years. And now we're at the point where it's actually a possibility. And it makes being a parent even harder because I feel like my kids can't be out of my sight. I have to watch what they're doing all the time. I have to watch who they're in contact with. Like I told y'all, them kids across the street, they don't want to play with my kids no more because I went outside and I cussed everybody the hell out because they were listening to some nasty music and doing some nasty dances out in the middle of the street. And I said, oh, hell nah. But they don't have anybody in their household telling them that is inappropriate. So I don't care. Like, y'all don't want to play with my kids. Good. Because I don't want you around them. Lord, we went off on so many tangents. I wanted y'all to see this video. Did y'all see? Did y'all see this sandstorm at Coney Island on the 4th of July? Like,
Just relax, just relax.
do y'all see how terrifying that is? Wait, y'all don't see the visual? Crap. Let's try that again. Hold on. Let's try that again.
Just relax, just relax.
I would be so scared. I would be so scared if I went out there on a day that I thought it was going to be a beautiful day and I got whipped around by sand. Oh my God. Yes, you love Ernest. So much was happening on the 4th. God clearly wasn't celebrating America's 25th that day. Yes. I saw some other stuff too. What? Spud McKenzie says Shinnecock 250-year rapture. You may have a point. You come on now. Come on now. Austel Grace says, is that the beach? It's like they're in the desert during a dust storm. Yes. That's the first of all, Coney Island is nasty. I wouldn't go out there and try to put my chair out there in swimsuit and lay out in that dirty sand. I'm good on that. But apparently that's like a big thing for people to do on the 4th. I have never seen anything like that happen. I've never heard of anything like that happening. So I would have been terrified. Like, you got your kids out there, y'all trying to run away from the sand. Sand is getting in your eyes, and you got to pick up all your stuff in the kid. Come on. But yeah, I do feel like God was not trying to. God was trying to show people what the hell was going on, and they was not paying no attention. But there was one more video that I wanted y'all to see. I'm so tired of rich people talking to us. Somebody tell them to shut the hell up.
Did you know that it's been 100 years since the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced? And now, still, women don't have an explicit guarantee to equal rights under the U.S. Constitution. Can you believe that? I couldn't even believe that was real. I mean, women are not asking for special rights.
Okay, shut the hell up, Alicia Keys. Let me stop you right there. Shut the hell up. How long have you been famous? Like over 20 years now. Now you coming to us talking about, did you know that women didn't have equal protection under the law? Like, are you stupid? I'm tired of these celebrities who are trying to pivot in their careers and trying to become all political now that your music isn't selling because nobody wants to hear you sing anymore. It's the same as Vic Mensa. It's the same, except Vic Mensa was never like as successful as Alicia Keys. But girl, shut the hell up. Nobody wants to hear that. Austel Grace says she was sitting up thinking about how white women were being oppressed. Of course, because she may be tan skin, but we know she came from a white mother. We know her mother was white. And you coming to us with that right now? We're not trying to hear any of it. I feel like everybody is seeing how powerful the delineation movement is and how Black Americans are becoming insular and really coming together and getting on code. They want to get in on that, but they don't want to talk about delineation. So they're saying anything, they're trying anything they can to seem like they're trying to make a stand or use their voice for something positive and helpful, but they're not trying to touch delineation. I think the only reason that Cardi B gets away with it because she's not Black American. That's what I think. And we're not going to play what she said because we've heard her say these things before. I think she has to say it because she took her whole career and her whole give from Black women. And Black women are her biggest supporter base, which is ridiculous to me. Like, are y'all dumb? Why are you supporting this woman? But I think the only way she can get away with saying it is because she's not Black American. But I really believe it's because the delineation movement is on everybody's ASS and they cannot ignore it. So she's trying to say something political, but not anything meaningful that people can really chew on. So we don't want to hear it. So shut up. Shut up. You Love Ernest says, I don't even like rich people, and it's not because they're rich. They're weirdos and give me creepy vibes. Reparations Nation says, I can't believe the size of her forehead. So we're equal. It seems like it's gotten bigger. It seems like it's gotten bigger. Reparations Nation says, besides, ain't I just listening to her husband stealing 8? Yeah. Swiss yuck. I don't even want to talk about Swiss Beats. Just yuck. I'm just gonna say that. Hey, My Black is Beautiful. I'll rewind it. I'll rewind it. I had already told her to shut up, but I'll rewind it so you can hear it.
Did you know that it's been 100 years since the Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced? And now, still, women don't have an explicit guarantee to equal rights under the U.S. Constitution. Can you believe that? I couldn't even believe that was real. I mean, women are not asking for special rights, just equal rights. Let's turn outrage into authorship. If it's the 250th celebration of the country, isn't it time to update some things? What rights or guarantees do you feel all women should have in America? It's a good question. I'm not here to speak for you. I just want to pass you the mic. So have your say at peoplesbillofrights250.org. Not red, not blue, just you. Wow.
Oh my God. I want to throw up. This incessant need to try to separate women and men in a time where we need each other is very, very aggravating. But like I said, any melanated woman is going to push that gender divide. You Love Ernest, very terrible acting. The whole thing made me cringe. It was so cringy. Her attempt to try to sound sincere, disgusting. But I'm really tired of the gender divide. And right now, Black men and Black women are trying to get on code with each other. We're not trying to listen to the gender warring. And all this type of rhetoric does is push that. Austell Gray says, what was that web address? I want to check it out. It said something like 250. She said something like 250 Bill of Rights. Let's see if we can get her.
Wow, just you. Red, now. People's Bill of Rights 250 at peoplesbillofrights250.org.
Bill of Rights 250. I don't know. People Bill of Rights 250.org. This is already looking like some nonprofit that is taking people's money to do nothing. We the people run the show. Share your ideas about the future of America. Click here to have your say. Not red, not blue, just you. When was the last time someone in power asked for your voice, ideas, vision? Yeah, like I said, I feel like these people are hearing and seeing. Everybody's paying attention to the delineation movement, and they're trying to figure out how they can use what we're doing to benefit them in some way. And this is clearly them trying to do that. Red Six says she got one of those DNC checks. Of course she did. Of course she did. My Black is Beautiful says, what the hell is she talking about? It's always the married ones talking about some damn feminism. Exactly. What the only rights that are specifically women's rights are, of course, reproductive rights. And obviously something has to be done about that, mainly because, Black maternal health is the worst in the country. But it seems like there's always this conversation about what women need, and it's definitely leaving behind what men need. And she's like, oh, this isn't about women having more rights than men. Why would you say that then? Why would you say that then? That's what I don't like. Like, you're really trying to play in our face. We're not believing you. Let's go to the part where it says store. They're clearly selling merch and stuff. So that's one way they're making money. But let's maybe contact. Okay. Wait, it says all proceeds support People's Bill of Rights 250. Okay. Why are they talking about join us? When you join, what does that do? All right, we got time to watch one of these. Look at this. Change the nation from your couch. Y'all, it sounds like a conspiracy theory until it doesn't. It sounds like a conspiracy theory until it doesn't. Haven't we been talking about choosing the couch over voting? I know I'm not crazy. I know I might sound crazy sometimes, but I know I'm not crazy. And it's 128 people in here. Y'all need to go over to YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. And if you're able, hit my Cash App or my Zelle. Yes, Asim. Okay, hold on, y'all. We'll have a little a break for a second. Hit my Cash App or my Zelle if you're able. Go to the YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Sorry, y'all. I should have left y'all with some music or something. My bad. My bad. I should have left y'all with some music. Red Six says you join and they'll sell all of your data. I mean, what else? What is this join us thing? Like, what are they trying to do? This sounds like some DNC mess. They're trying to get back all the people that the Democratic Socialists stole from them. And they're trying to act like they got something going on. I don't see it. So McKenzie says these celebrities are all, bleh, they are. They're disgusting. because you've been rich for almost probably the past 30 years, and now you want to come to us talking about some ERA. Are you dumb? That's why like celebrity culture is dying, because these people are very disingenuous. Red Six said, "Did you see what Jasmine Crockett posted on the 4th?" I did, and I'm done with her. I'm done with her, just like her district is done with her. Still Grace says, I ran through the website and their parent organization, Social Impact Fund, and they are both super vague. Yeah. It's like it's always some new organization that comes out of nowhere. They're really a front organization for a bigger one, and that bigger one is the one that's being funded by all these shadowy figures in the DNC in the background. It's the same thing that happened with BLM. So the People's Bill of Rights 250, are they trying to be like the new BLM? You can join the new BLM from your couch, and you don't have to protest, but we will sell your data. Spud McKenzie says, I will never forget Ice Cube trying to inform the women on Fox. Man, remember when we watched it? I will never forget Ice Cube trying to inform the women on Fox about the plan for Black America, only for Vivica rebuilt title Fox. Why you call her rebuilt title? Is it because she's 60 with a BBL? Is that why you called her rebuilt title? Because she looks crazy. I really just, no shade to anybody that's gotten plastic surgery, but being 60 and getting a BBL is crazy to me. I'm sorry. And I really feel like it's kind of crazy to get a BBL if you don't like use your body to make money. But yeah. The BBLs are killing y'all and the thighs don't match. They just don't. But yeah, they were definitely on that Fox show, Fox Soul show, pushing the gender divide. It was nothing but like bitter old Black women on there talking about how much they hate Black men. It's embarrassing. Nancel Speaks says, especially coming from Alicia Keys, she's not a girls from her and that Mistress thing. That is something. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm not a girl's girl either. But yeah, her now she's all women's rights. That's interesting. Red Six says, yep, the DNC is struggling to raise funds too. Why would anybody want to give them money after what they did with the Kamala campaign? They knew that they weren't going to win. They knew the whole time. They knew that the whole time. And they had people donating millions of dollars because they thought that they were going to win, and whatever agenda that they wanted to push was going to be pushed in the new administration. And it just so happens that the new administration ended up being Trump's. Reparations Nation says, that's nasty work in general, but at 60, man, please stop. Yeah. I really want women to start being honest about the reasons why they go under the knife and have these risky surgeries. It's not because they're trying to impress other women. It can't be. It can't be because how is another woman going to benefit you by looking at your BBL? I don't know, or admiring your BBL. You're doing it because you're trying to attract a man. Please be honest about that first and foremost, because I'm so sick of these women talking about, oh, I did it for me. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lay on a table and have risky surgery where I could possibly die just for me. That's not going to make me feel better about myself. Nancel Speak says, I'm not a girl's girl either, but that still hangs over her head as people looked at her totally different after that. It's because she had a certain vibe to her. It was kind of earthy. People made her up in her. That's what a lot of people do with celebrities. They put them on a pedestal and they create an image for them that just does not match up. I think that's why we never see Beyonce. I think that's why Beyonce is so reclusive and we only see her when she's trying to sell something. Because if she was as visible as like a Rihanna, people would not like Beyonce. And that's just what it is. The mystique, the image that people have for her, that's more valuable than who she really is. And I don't think well, I don't know. I don't know what the situation between her, Mashonda, and Swiss Beats was, but at the end of the day, she been with him longer at this point, so I don't even care anymore. She been with Swiss Beats much longer. But I mean, I ain't never really liked her to begin with, to be honest. Nancel Speak says, in my opinion, they do it to put other women down because lesbians get BBLs also. Most women who get BBLs are not hourglass or pear-shaped. That is a different perspective. Because I could see how they would. It's like they're kind of competing with other women for who has the best body. But it's all because they want to be able to have access to higher net worth men. But that's what they think. Because I feel like when regular women started getting plastic surgery, the game just got messed up. Because like I said, when I was in Miami, the only people everybody was getting plastic surgery, of course. But like most of the women that were in Miami were selling it in some type of capacity. You weren't in the strip club, you weren't on the stroll, but you were selling it in some type of capacity. So you are definitely in competition with other women that are also selling it. But when the average woman who wasn't selling it started getting it, it's kind of like that's when the game got real messed up. But McKenzie says the DNC really feels like it's those pesky black men that's keeping us from getting votes. No. Yeah. I think it's just I think they do a lot of analytics via social media, and they try to track trends. And what is a very popular trend, I guess, is misandry from Black women. But I don't think it's mostly Black American women. I think it's melanated women from other places, and that it's bleeding over into our discourse because those women are highly vocal about being Black, even though they're not Black. So I think that's where that comes from. But all they're doing is reading the analytics and following trends and seeing what conversations are the most popular and how can we use those conversations to get us more votes. So I think that's why they keep pushing it. Because remember when Kamala was running, but before she joined Biden's ticket, it was a whole like push for Black women to support Kamala when she was just running for president. Remember that? And then that's when you hear all these women saying, "Oh, well, there has to be a woman vice president, or no, a Black woman vice president, or a Black woman on the Supreme Court." Remember that? And so they're still pushing that. They're like, this is still something. It worked for us before, so now we have to keep pushing it. And it's not really working for us. It's actually working against us, especially for Black women, because those 300,000 Black women who lost their jobs because of Doge, and then we just found out that Doge got disbanded like last week. That none of this is helping us. We have to join and concentrate our efforts so we can get things together. We can't divide. because a lot of these Black women feel like, well, not Black, I'm not even going to say Black, I'm going to say melanated, because it really, I don't think there's a lot of Black American women that are pushing this. I feel like it's these women from other places, and they're causing our conversations to change, even though that's not the direction that we're going into. They think that they'll be able to find refuge in a white man, and that they're not going to be affected by the things that the Black community has been affected by for 500 years because they marry a white man. And that's just what it is. I actually wanted to talk about that today because this is one of their their favorite heroines, Ketanji. They want to follow in her footsteps. This lady was on the cover of Essence. Did y'all see this? Unbelievable. But she is their role model. She is what they aspire to be. This high-powered Black woman married to a Boston Brahmin. It just is what it is. This is how they're going to escape Blackness. Red 6 says Beyonce tries to copy the Michael Jackson model. She does, but she's just not as dynamic as him. And I don't think she's as creative. She doesn't really make great music. I think the last great album that she made was B-Day. And that was, what, 20 years ago? I know that people like her music, but it's not good to me. I think she tries to be a pop artist, but she doesn't have a pop sound. And it doesn't, when she makes pop music, it doesn't sound, it sounds artificial. So I think that's Beyonce's problem. And she doesn't really have, when you listen to Michael Jackson's music, you can hear his mission. You can hear that the purpose, he's feeding his purpose through his music. You don't really hear that with Beyonce. That's why when people try to compare him to her or any other artist, I'm like, for me, the baseline is, does that person have a human nature, or do they have a man in the mirror? Like, we're not hearing who you are through your music. But I'll say this, we're hearing who you are through your music, but we're not hearing the humanity, your humanity through your music. That's what I want to hear. And Beyonce just does not have that, and I don't think she ever will. So she can't be Michael Jackson, but I see that she's trying to copy what Michael Jackson has done, but she's missing the integral part that made him so great. And it was his love of people and how he really wanted to change the world through his music. He was spreading positivity, and he was spreading awareness for very important things that people were going through. Nancel Speaks says, yep, I don't know if you've seen, but the Hourglass debate on Twitter went crazy for a couple of weeks earlier this year, and that's how I found out lesbians get BBLs too. Oh, I did not see that. That is so funny. That is so funny. I'm old now. When I was in my 20s, of course, I wanted to wear clothes that showed off my body, and I wanted people to see me, but now I don't want people to see my body. I don't even want you to be able to see the outline of my curves through my clothes, even though you can, because it's kind of, if you ever see me in public, it's kind of hard for me to hide those things. But I don't want to be, I don't want people to meet me and the first thing they see is my breast falling out my shirt or my butt popping out through my pants. You know, I don't want that to be the first thing you see and you're like, wow. So that conversation is really, really funny, because even now, like, me working on my body, I'm not thinking like, oh, I want an hourglass shape. I'm thinking like, oh, I want to be fit, and I want to be fast, and I want to be able to have knees that don't hurt when I bend down. I'm not thinking like, how can I have I do, but it's just humanity speaks through his music. He was making music for a higher purpose. You're not hearing the higher purpose in any of these people's music. The best song that Beyonce ever made was Halo, in my opinion. But her best body of work was B-Day because it sounded like a Beyonce album. Like it sounds like her. I feel like her recent music, it sounds like she's trying to like incorporate new sounds so she can be on the cutting edge of like the way music is made and people will be inspired by it. But it just sounds like jumbled up mess to me. Like I really hated Cowboy Carter. I was like, what is this crap? And then I have one of my Pilates instructors is always playing that Beyonce and Shabuzi song in the class, and I'm just like, this is terrible. I can't. The audio was cut. That's not surprising. I'm talking about Beyonce. Of course, they're trying to cut my audio. Mansell Speaks says also Michael was a champion for Black people. It is so funny because I be seeing people on Twitter say stuff like Michael wanted to be white. He was trying to remove himself from being Black. Like the man that made Remember the Time. Are you serious? Like you people are slow. You people are slow. I also have like a theory about Michael Jackson. I feel like when the vitiligos really started taking over and his features really started to change, I mean, his skin started to change, I feel like he probably felt like he had to change his facial features too. Because him as how he looked as Michael Jackson, Joe's son, I feel like with like completely white skin would have looked crazy. I feel like he would have looked really crazy with the same nose. I don't know. That's just a theory of mine. But you know, he doesn't have any pictures of him when his skin really started changing because he was very, very private. And he did not want anybody seeing that. So we probably never know. Reparations Nation says, rest assured, if that's the first thing a man sees, that's how he will always see you. That's exactly. I know that. That's why I don't want people that be the first thing that anybody sees. I don't want my body to be on display. Reparations Nation says that's for one's husband. I stay fit because I'm a warrior. The food looks of it are just happenstance. The good looks of it are just happenstance. Well, you're always going to be a handsome person. It doesn't matter. Even if you were fat, you'd probably still be handsome. But yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I got to stay ready so I don't have to get ready. And that's in all things because you got to stay ready. You never know what might happen. And I really want to be able to run if I have to be able to run. If it comes down to it and I have to run, I want to run very, very fast. What was the last thing I wanted to talk about? I kind of feel like this was the main event, y'all. Ex-Florida Democratic governor nominee Andrew Gillum arrested for drug possession. Guys, did y'all hear about this? I know some of y'all did. That was just for you, Reparations Nation. That was just for you. But yeah, this was the main event, guys. Did y'all see that? Andrew Gillum arrested for drug possession. You know what? We're gonna read the article on TMZ because he just can't get right. It's like he lost the race for governor and just started wilding out. Look at his mugshot. He been going through it. He been going through it real bad. I was so grateful that I was waiting on this one. So it says Andrew Gillum, the ex-politician who lost to Ron DeSantis by a slim margin in the 2018 Florida governor's race, was arrested last week in Alabama. First of all, I've never heard of Daphne, Alabama. Y'all know I used to live in Alabama. Where is Daphne, Alabama, and why was he there? This happened Thursday night. It's Tuesday. We're just now finding out about this. Gillum was taken into custody Thursday night by officers in Daphne, Alabama, and then booked in the Baldwin County Jail for possession of dangerous drugs, drug paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana. Y'all, this already doesn't sound right. The Daphne PD has yet to release details on what led to his latest brush with the law. I gotta find out where Daphne, Alabama is. Is that where his people are from? Is that why he was there? What do y'all think? Oh, I think it might be in Gulf Shores. It's called the Jubilee City. This is where it is. It looks like it might be like near Mobile. Yeah, it's on the other side of Mobile. On the other side of the bay from Mobile. So I wonder if his people are from there. He might be from there. No, he was born in Miami, raised in Gainesville. What is he doing in Alabama? That's my question. What y'all think he was doing in Alabama? Reparations Nation says he was out there chasing white bussy again. He wanted some redneck hick bussy. They was probably selling him meth. Now, that's the first thing I thought. Y'all really think he was out there bussy hunting red snakes? Reparations Nation, you been to Daphne? Man, Nancy, we know that he was with a man. We know at the very least he was with a man. It's 150 people in here. Somebody hit my Cash App. If everybody send me $1, me and Pickle, we can ball out at the Olive Garden July 13th. Okay? I mean, that'll be a lot of money to spend at Olive Garden, but hey, it'll still be nice. But yeah, back to him getting his DRUGS from somebody in Daphne, Alabama. Y'all think he might be trafficking? He has to make money somehow. He has to make money somehow. That podcast isn't going to do it. But Austell Gray said they air their podcast on Mondays. So I wonder if they talked about it. Red 6 says he looked like an addict. That TMZ photo looks like a far cry from his arrest photo. Exactly. That's why I say he looks strung out. Like he looks healthy right here. You know what I mean? Right here. This is the look of a man that's been on the streets. Yeah. And you know TMZ wasn't gonna forget. Let anybody forget about this. You may recall in 2020, Gillum and another man were found dazed and confused inside a room by paramedics at the Mondrian Hotel in South Beach, Florida. Another man discovered the two and called 911, worried that the person with Gillum had possibly overdosed. Now, this is something I've seen too many times before. He clearly linked up with a male escort, and the person that he was working with was probably worried about what was going on because he hadn't heard from his friend. He probably went and knocked on that door and saw his friend overdosed. But also, another conspiracy that we had talked about when all of this happened, Andrew might have got set up back then. This is what we were talking about back then. He might have gotten set up by the DNC back then. And maybe he was put in his place. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? What do y'all think? Reparations Nation says, now I got a lady friend in Foley and my father's people from Mobile. See? You be all around the world and Red Six says he looked like an addict. That TMZ photo looks like a far cry. Okay, I already read that, but I'm gonna say it again. He does look like an addict. Reparation Nation says that's the look of a man that's been playing bussy games and smoking meth. Well, that's something that I did not know about, but meth started to become like a really big problem in the Black gay community because it was mixing with these wealthy white men who wanted to participate in sex acts while being high on meth. So they were introducing it to these young Black gay men. And that's what happened with that guy in California, who was a huge DNC contributor. I can't remember his name, but he's in prison now because one too many young Black men were found dead while in his custody. So yeah, it's like meth has become like a party drug in that community. Red Six says Bakari Sellers was filling in for him on the pod. It all makes sense now. Oh, he was strung out. Oh man. I don't listen to them. I'm only gonna listen when they go viral. But yeah, if they got something to say, okay. I do see Bakari on the thumbnail. Oh, they're live right now. We got more people in here than they do. We got more people in here than they do watching the Native Land Pod. Let's give it up for us. Let's give it up for us. But yeah, I do see they got Bakari on the thumbnail. They're gonna be easing Andrew Gillum out. I feel so bad for him. Because the thing is, they will give you all the tools to destroy yourself with. You can't be set up if you don't participate in any of these games. They can't set you up. So yeah, Ed Buck, that's his name. Thank you, Nancel and Spud McKenzie. Spud McKenzie says, I really believe that he was set up. Oh, he was definitely set up this time. This first time he was set up. They don't have nothing. They don't have no reason to set him up the next time, you know? This current time, they have no reason to set him up now. Fair use, because I really want to see this. But y'all see this hairline? Boy. No sound. I hate when this. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to give y'all a longer show today, too, because we weren't here yesterday. Let me start it over. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, too, because you know how they be talking real slow. Here we go.
We're getting our first look at evidence from the overdose emergency involving former gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum.
And we're talking about a very messy hotel room with drugs scattered everywhere. Local 10 News reporter Laren Livingston is live on South Beach to show us. Laren.
So police tell us back on March 13th, Andrew Gillum was so inebriated when they got here to the Mondrian South Beach Hotel that he could not even speak with those officers who responded here. And so now we're seeing and hearing some of what those first responders saw and heard when they made it here to the hotel that night.
It's around 1 a.m. March 13th. Miami Beach police make their way into the Mondrian South Beach Hotel and up to the 11th floor. The first knock goes unanswered. Seconds later, that's when things literally get blurry for privacy reasons. The audio also goes silent. Police encounter a man barely dressed, if at all. You can make out what appears to be Miami Beach fire rescue medics moving around the room. At one point, police direct what appears to be a nude man to the bathroom. He's questioned and later takes a seat. The call came in about a suspected drug overdose. Andrew Gillum, husband, father, and rising star in the Democratic Party, the first black nominee of a major party when he ran for Florida governor, was one of 3 men found inside that hotel room. Police say Aldo Mejias came back to the room where he found Gillum and Travis Dyson under the influence of an unknown substance. Gillum, who'd reportedly been found vomiting in the...
Either the guy that found him was his pimp or that was who he was working with. But he got set up. Yes, baby. Oh, shoot. You just kicked me in the chest.
Sorry. What's that?
It's nothing, honey. Go back in the living room.
Let me see what's that.
It's nothing. Go back in the living room.
What's that?
If you can go back in the living room and be good, when I'm finished, I'll give you a piece of chocolate.
A piece of chocolate?
Yes.
I see that.
Don't look at it.
Why?
Because you don't need to worry about that. Go. Just nosy.
I just see some yellow and paper on it.
Yeah, it's not good. Go, close the door.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Let's go away.
No, you're not gonna wait. Bye.
Yes, I am.
She saw that towel with the throw up on the screen, and she talking about what's that. Spill McKenzie says, down here in Florida, there are plenty of law enforcement videos on YouTube of law enforcement teaching the other classes how to make it. Oh, really? That's very interesting. Imagine if they did this to Kamala, because we know and see that she's off on something. Yeah, but she's clearly playing the game. Andrew Gillum must have did something and got out of line. He did something and got out of line, and they had to put him back in line somehow.
bathroom, was later allowed to leave the hotel to go home. Police also released these photos showing the mess left behind: stained pillowcases and sheets, pills and bottles of pills spilled in various places. Police also removed what they suspected to be 3...
Why would the pills just be spilled all over the place? That don't sound off to you. Why would the pills just be spilled all over the room? Amina, I'm not playing with you, little girl. That sounds very off. But yeah, Kamala, she's trying to play the game. Staying pill, right? It's gross.
small bags of crystal meth.
Police say those suspected drugs were eventually impounded. No criminal charges were ever filed, and Gillum claimed he was here in South Florida for a wedding. He has since apologized and says he never has used methamphetamines, but he did say that after that unsuccessful bid for governor, he did fall into depression, started abusing alcohol, and he has since entered into rehab. We reached out to all three of the men who were involved in this incident that night, have not yet heard back. We're live here in Miami Beach, Larry Livingston.
We've seen House of Cards. We know how this goes. I feel like he got set up. They said, okay, we'll make this go away. We need this from you. Because clearly, I mean, he's on the hard drugs. He's on the hard drugs because he just got arrested being in possession with them. So he looks so bad. This was October 4th, 25. However, prosecutors never formally charged Gillum or the other man in the room because there was insufficient evidence to link them directly to the drugs, which were not found on their persons. That's because they were both naked. They were both naked in that room together. Regarding the 2018 Florida governor's race, Gillum won the Democratic primary and then went up against Republican nominee Ron DeSantis, who ultimately beat Gillum in the general election, but only by about 30,000 votes. Prior to the race, Gillum was the mayor of Tallahassee from 2014 to 2018. One thing about the Democrats, they'll run a black person just so they can lose against a white person. We've seen that way too many times. Let's get into these comments. Somebody said his political career. Let's wrap this one up. I mean, I think after the first time in 2020, the political career was over. What do y'all think? What do y'all think, y'all? Somebody said drugs are the number on this man's physical appearance. Hope he gets help. Yeah. Well, it looks like people aren't being too hard on him. They're just saying that they hope he gets help. Yeah. Well, I hope that Andrew Gillum gets the help that he needs. Because it's very unfortunate seeing somebody fall from grace like this. I mean, I don't have to be a fan of him. I don't think that he would have been a good governor, to be honest. But I think that they wanted to give people hope. And that was his function. And when they were done with him, they got rid of him. Austell Gray says he was finished when he got busted in Florida. Yeah, that was the end of his career. Remember, he went to rehab. He came out and him and his wife did that interview. I feel so bad for her. I wouldn't be caught in public with you after you did that. Everybody knows that you were... I don't even want to say it because it just sounds so nasty, but everybody knows what you were doing in that hotel room. He wasn't just on alcohol. And like I said, they will give you all the tools to destroy yourself. It doesn't matter if he was out drinking with this guy and the guy drugged him and got him into the hotel room and they set it up and everything. Like you still put yourself in that position. I would not put myself in that position. But these people have really compromised morals and it leads them to being caught up in positions like that. Also, Grace says that podcast he was on was his last line and he'll probably be dropped from it after today. Yeah. There's no way that they will continue. I want to know why he was out there. Why was he in Daphne, Alabama? Reparation Nation said his wife, you doing the bending? She already knew. And apparently there were rumblings in the Tallahassee, FAMU, Florida State sphere about him while he was in college, saying that he was bisexual at best back then. So people already knew about him. And he ended up getting married because, of course, he's a politician. He was a person with big political aspirations. So, of course, he's going to get married. This is the last story I have for today. I want to keep going, but I didn't really plan for more than this. This is an update on that story that we were following with Godfrey. Remember, we were watching that Fawcett Media video, and Godfrey was pretty much showing his true colors, how he really feels about Black Americans. He was pretending to be an ally and an advocate for us all these years, mainly because nobody wants to see him if he doesn't have any type of proximity to real Black people. And he went on his show and cussed this poor lady out because all she was doing was telling him, like, people felt away because you went and let David Oyelowo disrespect us on several different occasions on your podcast. So of course he did not want to be criticized. He knew he was wrong. He didn't want to be criticized for anything. But Flacco, Poetic Flacco, who is also a buck dancing African, he had some choice words for Godfrey. And I'm actually very, very shocked by what Poetic Flacco had to say. Also, Grace says he let that mask slip, and I was so happy that he did it. I mean, the mask had been slipping for years now, because we've been calling him out for years. But this final time, that was the last time. And I was watching Dave Anderson this morning, and he had the same criticism that we had when we were watching it, when we were talking about this on, was it Friday? He said the same thing that we said on Friday. He's never had anybody FBA on that show. You cannot, on this podcast that's supposed to be about the continent of Africa and its 54 countries, you cannot be having these conversations about us on your podcast and not have any of us on there to be able to speak for us. It's just, I feel like it's a very isolationist thing that they're doing. Like, they're really trying to put us on the outside and make us feel like we don't have any allies. And that, like, they could be our only allies, but they hate us. Like, I really feel like that is the greater goal for all these groups. They want to isolate us. They want us to feel like we are out here alone. It doesn't work, because that's something that would make them feel bad, but it doesn't make us feel bad because we want to be left alone. Like, you don't want to deal with us? Okay, that's fine. We can deal with each other. We don't really need y'all. Now, Godfrey is a person that feels like we, Black Americans, need him. He's supposed to be like a savior for us. Oh, he speaks on our behalf. He knows some of our history. Blah. No, it's not good enough. And we have to be a lot more discerning for people like him. Saying the right things every once in a while is not going to be enough anymore. You're really going to have to you're going to have to make more of a commitment. And these people, they don't want to. They just want to be able to do just enough so they can say that they have proximity to us, even if they don't. Or even if they're just trying to use us to get to where they want to be. Spud McKenzie says when he does, he will purposely invite Yvette and Tariq on the same show, and we know how that will go. I don't think that will work. Yvette would leave. Yvette would leave before the camera gets cut on. Yvette would leave, and then they'll be stuck there with Tariq by themselves. That does sound like something that they would try to do. That's some sneaky African thing that they would try to do. But Yvette wouldn't share a stage with Tariq. You Love Ernest says, does he have any FBA friends? I've never seen him around FBAs unless it's a movie or a show. He was on Hidden Colors. Him and Tariq have a relationship. Red 6 says, we didn't have allies when we were building the country. Why would we need them now, especially since they are hella off code? I don't know why they think we need them. Our material positions haven't changed at all since they've been coming here en masse. I don't know. Honestly, it makes no sense to me. I will never understand why they think that we need them. Spud McKenzie says it will cause a lot of confusion if Godfrey does something stupid like that. It won't cause confusion because it makes sense that they will try to pit us against each other instead of having to confront us one-on-one about the things that they've been saying about us. Now, it would be interesting if he did try to invite Tariq and Yvette on the same show together, and they ended up handing it to both of them like they should. linking up together and handing it to the both of Akbar and Godfrey as they should. But both of them are too smart to be used like that. They are too smart to be used like that. But I do believe that Yvette would probably walk off, and good for her. Do what you want to do. Don't let anybody try to control or dictate the way you move. It doesn't matter if you're on their platform. Nobody should have the power to be able to do something like that. Spud McKenzie says, I already said that. Reparation Nation says, we don't give a good goddamn about the two stepping together. We do not. We do not. And it's sad that we're going to actually have to show them and apply that type of pressure that we always could have in the past, but we didn't because we are a very benevolent people. The fact that we're going to have to start treating them the way that they treat us is very sad, because we're just not those type of people. But it just shows how far they pushed us for it to have to happen. Nancel Speak says it's projection to think that we need them because it's definitely the other way around. That's that destiny swapping. They're going to keep trying to destiny swap. Whenever they feel like they have a foot in to be able to do it, they're going to keep going. That's why it's very important for us to be up on our spiritual hygiene, stay prayed up, burn your candles, burn your incense, your Palo Santo, or whatever. Just make sure that you are aware of what's really going on, because we're in Mercury retrograde, so the energy is very, very thick. I feel it. I feel it really badly. The communication has been very, very skewed. That's probably one of the main reasons why the weather was so bad during July 4th. Because Mercury's in retrograde. But let's get into Poetic Flacco, because I really want y'all to hear what he got to say. Fair use. Don't come for me. Fair use. But this is the rare time that he's not talking to us, and he's talking to his own people, which I can appreciate.
Americans, right? Again, this just falls and reaffirms all the negative stereotypes of Africans will pretend to be pro-Black in the public, but then behind closed doors, or when another African come in the room, they chuckle, right? And they disparage and they go against Black Americans. And again, this just reaffirms all the suspicions Black Americans already have of Africans, because again, Godfrey is one of the most pro-Black, super militant, Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, like he is pro-Black as pro-Black can be when no Africans are in the room. But when an African come in the room, all of a sudden, he's making jokes like the Black American accent is just a slowed down African accent with a hint of slavery. Her saying that.
And he is correct. He's saying one of the quiet parts out loud. He's saying that when Africans get together, when they feel like they're alone, they start talking very, very disparagingly about us. And that's what we keep seeing on this 154 podcast. When they feel like it's just them in the room, they start talking real greasy about us. And I'm glad Poetic Flacco said that. Like, I don't mess with him at all, but he's exposing the way that they act when we're not in the room and we don't know what's going on. I mean, we know what's going on, but now we have proof.
Look at her now. Now she wants to jump on David Aiuolo because she don't have nothing else to talk about. So she gonna jump on my podcast, which is a dope ass podcast. And by the way, David Aiuolo has apologized, but British Black people do not have a perspective of American Blacks. Get it. But the fact is that these mistakes need to happen so we can talk about it. So we can have people going up. I think David probably didn't mean it that way, but the British Black experience is so different than the Black American experience. He probably was like, no, it's a little subservient. They don't know any better. A lot of them just don't know any better.
No,
and that is such a bad excuse. Because you're saying that David Oyelowo doesn't know better, but you know better. The problem is he's on your platform and you didn't check him in the moment. And you didn't tell him like, hey, that's not the right thing to say. That's not true, for one. But you're definitely going to make a lot of people angry. Let me educate you. But he in the background talking about facts. Oh, so you agree? You agree with him? That's the issue that people are having, Godfrey. But he wants to blow it off and make it seem like it's some type of problem that it's just us. Like we have some type of pathological problem. It's just Black Americans. And not because you did something that was wrong. There's no accountability. That's why I said, is he still a child? Did he ever grow up? Because that's a very immature thing to do. Reparations Nation says it excuses nothing. It doesn't excuse anything. Him saying David Oyelowo doesn't know better. If he doesn't know any better, why is he over in our country playing our famous great Black American figures if he doesn't know any better about our community? I don't that it doesn't excuse anything. Both of you are going to get smoke, and you deserve it. Austell Gray says, does coming from Nigeria/Britain means that you don't know what the word subservient means? I mean, these people act like they're so much smarter than us, but when it comes to actually understanding Black American culture, they just don't know better. Oh, okay. You Love Ernest says, subservient means the same thing in America and the UK, so he can't try to make it seem like it's a word with two different meanings. Absolutely. But they're going to keep trying to play in our faces and make it seem like they know more than we do. They don't get it. They really don't get it. They really think that we're just this people that don't have any power. We don't have any economic power. We don't have any standing in this country. Yeah, we might be bottom casted in America according to white supremacy, but we're still on a way, way greater playing field than anybody else in the world. And we actually know how to play this game. We were born into this game. A lot of these people are immigrating into this game. We know what time it is. They don't. It's really time for us to start flexing our muscles on these people because they really think they can play with us and they really don't know what we know. That's why it's important for us to keep delineating and gatekeeping, because people like Godfrey don't need to exist anymore. Spill McKenzie says, you're not my mommy or daddy, Godfrey. That's a clear indication of immaturity. You're right. He's never grown up. Exactly. This is a big child right here. And he's almost 60 years old. All of us should be able to criticize each other. And it's because we want each other to be better. It's not criticizing people just to embarrass you or to make you feel bad. We want you to be better, because if you feel, at the end of the day, Godfrey, you think that you're a Black man in America. We don't see you that way. But if you're going to purport yourself as that, you need to do better. We're not going to allow you to be walking around making us look crazy. And that's just it. And it's about to get real spooky for him. He about to watch.
I think it's good that people can listen. Hold up.
It definitely sounded like some white people. I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
It was whack. But
also, let me speed this up a little bit. See if we can. Yeah.
I said I'm sorry, but it definitely sounded like some white people. But I get it.
But what I'm saying is, that's what. Where do you think they're
colonized?
It's colonial mentality. That's white people. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think people were responding because we appreciate the fact that, although your heritage is Nigerian, listen, I've been through all the arguments with ex-boyfriend, Nigerian, the whole nine. So I understand.
Yeah, but I grew up in Chicago.
We were a little surprised by your reaction.
I don't give a what you all were thinking, because I didn't make him say that.
I didn't say it.
I didn't make him say that. So all of that, because you all sit there and try to pick at the smallest thing for us to up. First of all, that me and Akbar grew up in Crenshaw. All right. I grew up
Again, he says that we're just nitpicking at him. We're not nitpicking at you. You did something wrong. We called you out about it. The end. You feel like you're being nitpicked because you don't want to take accountability for being wrong. And now you hear him about to say, I'm from Chicago. Akbar's from Crenshaw. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you weren't outside, then you can't really say you're from those places. Do people know you? Okay. Spill McKenzie says, you notice Michael Blackson stays out the way. He does. All he cares about is making his money. You're not going to hear him talk about it. Well, I think he said one thing once. Hold on. I probably wouldn't even be able to find it. But I think he said something one time and they got him so good that he never came out and said nothing else. But yeah, he's going to stay out the way. He's just trying to make money. Godfrey wants to be like a civil rights leader. He wants to be able to speak for Black Americans. Michael Blackson not trying to do that.
Chicago, some of the blackest cities around. Chicago's the most segregated city in this country. So I know what Black Americans are like because I was stopped by cops, harassed by cops, called the whole nine. Okay, so I'm a little bit different, but that show, what our show is, it's just 9-10 months. We're doing really well. It's needed. Nothing's gonna be perfect. So when someone goes, I didn't like your reaction, you're not my parent, first off. And I'm the first person, if I'll go, man, my bad. But David said it. So to villainize me is bullshit. That's Black just trying to have something to about.
So he's saying that we just want a reason to complain. He's saying that that's something that all Black people do. We just want a reason to complain. It's really unbelievable. He gets mad on his show and he really just starts letting it come out. All right, Godfrey. Nancel Speak says, people with a victim mentality usually feels attacked like this. Michael Blackson said something slick once and they was on his head. All we want is respect. It's not hard. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something and he ain't said nothing since then. He ain't said nothing since then. Also, Grace says, notice how he said that he can relate to Black Americans because he got stopped by the police. Yeah, that's because they feel like that's the Black American experience is just subjugation. If you've ever felt oppressed or subjugated, or you've ever felt victimized by the police, then you've had a Black American experience. That's just not true. And we're really about to see how different things are because the power is changing hands right now. Like we're in the midst of a power shift, and people think that we're still going to be on the bottom. It's not going to be us anymore. Black Americans are not going to continue to keep going along with the unfair power dynamics in this country anymore. We pull too much rank on all of these people. Nobody has as much power as we do. We just have to access it and start utilizing that power. He's trying to play both sides. He's trying to play the immigrant side and the Black American side. It's not going to work that way, Godfrey. He doesn't even realize that he just signed his, I'm not going to say that because I'm not trying to get to get any strikes, but he doesn't even realize what he's doing right now. But it's not going to work out the way that he wants it to. Red 6 says he was up there kikiing with Oyella Ho said that nonsense about us too. Yeah. Talking about, and now we're free. Hold on, what? These people they love to make fun of the fact that our people were enslaved in this country, but they want to make fun of it, but they also resent us for it because they wish that they would have been able to come over here too. These people are sick. They are sick. They have mental illnesses. Spud McKenzie says, if you've ever been undermined by a tether as having a Black American experience, has he had one of those? I don't know. Maybe a white tether. He probably been undermined by a lot of those. Yeah, let's keep going because it's going to cut back to Poetic Flacco, and he's going to have a lot more to say.
See, what we're doing is we're trying to work out our kinks. People are traumatized. Black Americans are traumatized. Caribbeans are traumatized. Africans are traumatized. Everybody's traumatized. Black women are traumatized. Black men are traumatized. So this is all coming from trauma. And this should be a therapeutic podcast. It should be a podcast where we go, hey, man, we got to talk about these things. But to just go, I'm disappointed. None of you, my parent. None of you. Nobody's perfect talking to me.
Again, the immaturity. Nobody's my parent. Nobody's perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being accountable. And that's the problem. We're trying to hold each other accountable so we can be better. We're holding you accountable because you think that you can speak on behalf of us. But you're mad because we're clocking you for your true intentions. He's just another sneaky tether.
You do a podcast and do better.
You see how condescending he is? He says that podcast is necessary to have the dialogue, but he can't receive criticism. And he represents 90% of the most Africans. They like to throw rocks, but they don't want the rocks being thrown back at them, right? The woman, he didn't ask, well, what was wrong with my response? Let's have a dialogue about my response. No, he proceeded to attack this woman and say a whole bunch of cuss words and everything, because this is who he really is, right? This is who he is, right? But see, this is the thing. He can do that to us, but other Africans know other Africans, and they know the mentality of their people. They know the psyche of that tribalism and the way that they operate and the way that they think. So Poetic Flacco just completely flatlined him, right? And I mean, listen, check this out.
I don't even understand how vile what Godfrey just said is, how trifling, disgusting, and vile what he just said is. Let me explain to you guys real quick. Godfrey just says Black Americans have trauma. Because of their trauma, that's why they're overreacting to this David clip. Take it with a grain of salt. They're just overreacting. It's trauma speaking. Let's speak about that trauma real quick. The Black American trauma they're currently feeling is because of slavery, systematic racism, Jim Crow, civil rights, 400 years of overcoming and enduring. 400 years.
And that's a very important statement, because he's talking about we're all traumatized. We all have different types of forms of trauma. We're dealing with our trauma in the birthplace of our trauma. You all decided that y'all wanted to leave the places where you felt traumatized. And y'all are escaping that and coming here and trying to start new lives, pretend like you're completely new people without dealing with your trauma. Just so you can make it seem like we're the only ones that are traumatized. We're dealing with our stuff. You need to go home and deal with yours. You Love Ernest says they hate the fact that after centuries of slavery, we're still better off than those in their native land. We weren't supposed to win to them. We weren't supposed to win. But that's what happens when you go through the fire and you're fortified by it. When you escape and you try to forget and leave all of that behind, and you don't face it, that's how you deal with that's how you end up with a person like Godfrey. And you have countries like Nigeria. Spud McKenzie says that trauma talking point is what Emmanuel Acho, goofy self, said as to why we can have conversations as a Black man because he doesn't have trauma. Why he can have conversations as a Black man because he doesn't have trauma. He's not a Black man. He can't speak for us. And that's why Emmanuel Acho got dragged, rightfully, and not just by us. He got dragged by a lot of his own people too, because a lot of them are tired of the tethers having these types of conversations on their behalf. A lot of the melanated immigrants don't even feel this way. They want them to shut up, but they won't, because they're arrogant and they feel like they have the ability to take what's ours. They got to cut it out. They got to cut it out, because it's about to get really bad for them. If they want to keep doing this, it's about to get really, really bad for them. Because they can't war with us. They can't even war with their own people on their own land. So why do they feel like they'll be able to do it with us here?
They endure a lot of tragic things, but they're overcoming their trauma is a consequence of greedy Africans who sold them. They were betrayed by Africans. So the same Black Americans who are currently filled with the trauma, who had to endure the unspeakable, still said during the Civil Rights Movement, even though we know our African brothers sold us, they betrayed us, we still want them to come over here. We're still going to march, protest, and do whatever we got to do, put our safety at risk. so you guys can pass laws to bring our African brothers over here because we want them to enjoy the prosperity and freedoms off our backs and our sweat. But in 2026, the same Africans that they know betrayed them, the same Africans that they know sold them and slimed them out, the same Africans that they pushed to come here even though they knew the history, the same Africans is now on a podcast in 2026 making fun of the very same trauma that they caused. Do you understand how sick that is? That is some nasty stuff right there, bruh. That's nasty, man. That's nasty. Yo, Black Americans are patient, bro. They are patient. Because I'll be real, bro. I don't think my anger issues and my anger problems, I'll be able to control myself, homie. You come on a podcast and make fun of slavery and mock it. Oh, it's the slavery talking. Huh? And you sold us, and we forgave you, and we still marched and still protested to have y'all over here so y'all can endure prosperity? Listen, don't get fooled, right? Because even during that podcast, they was talking about, oh, man, listen, man, when you go back to Africa, you take off the armor that you have to wear in America because the system, man, listen, man, there's not enough armor in the world that will sway an African to choosing to live in Africa over America. There's not enough armor in the world that will make Godfrey choose to stay in Africa opposed to America, man. Don't let them fool y'all, bro. It's cracking over here now, man.
So my brothers.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? This is your fellow Africans saying this. We already know this. But like I said, I mean, Poetic Flacco, I mean, he's not an ally at all. But he rightfully called out his fellow African on his BS because it's the truth. They're really trying to sell us a fantasy that does not exist so that they can live in what we created without us. That is sickening. That is sickening. Spud McKenzie says Oprah is behind Acho, and as to why I think she's behind 154. Ooh. That Africa escape hatch is real. It's real. But they need us to support it. The delineation movement, it kills everything that they were trying to do. Completely destroys it. They're going to have to hold their own nuts. Nancy L. Speaks says they've been bullied off their land and now they want to bully us. Exactly. It's not going to work. Red 6 says we lost patience. That's why delineation is the way now. There's no going back from that either. There is no going back from that. I wanted to watch one other video with y'all. We can watch it real quick because it's not going to be that long. Yes, it's not going to be that long. It's from Lady Boulet's channel. She posted this, she posted this yesterday. This was a very, very good video, and it really explains a lot of what's going on, especially what's going on in that Poetic Flacco video.
Hello, this is Lady Boulet, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And today's title is The Black American Roar. Now, we keep asking, why does everybody hate us? Why does everybody focus on us? Why is everybody talking about us? Why? Well, it's because of the Black American Roar. And we're going to talk about that in this video because it's important. It is time for us to move out of the why do people hate us? Why do people talk about us? Why do people focus on us? Well, it's time for us to stop and answer that question because there's a reason for it. When you understand that the system that the white people have set up in America has been designed for Black people to stay on the bottom and everybody else to rise above us, eating off of us, you will understand why everybody is focused on us. And when you understand that people leave different Asian countries with the understanding that they're going to come to America and set up business in Black neighborhoods and parasite off Black people, then you'll understand it. So let's talk about this. Black Americans shift national power every single time we move. And I'm not talking about symbolism. I'm talking about real, measurable influence that forces this country to adjust itself.
That is very, very important, y'all. We have influence that has forced the country to adjust. No other group has that influence in this country. And that's why they all try to come here and eat off of us. They try to use our struggle so they can get themselves benefits and set-asides. That's all ending.
Politically, economically, culturally, and socially, every time we decide to do something different. People act like we're just participating in America. No, we're not just participating in America. We're shaping it. We've been too nice. Now, that's one thing that we need to get straight. We have been too nice, and we have gone along with people when we didn't really understand the power of going along with your enemy. Going along with an enemy hurts you and demoralizes you. And no matter how you feel about Tariq Nasheed, the foundational Black American identity is a powerful one, and it's appropriate because we have been the foundation of this country. Now, that isn't to say that white people haven't done their part, because they have. White people have a good sense of order. They have a good sense of organization. They know how to put systems in place, and they do have a sense of national responsibility. Some of them do. But Black people are the foundation when it comes to so many things that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. And this video is not even going to be that long. It's going to be about the length of my other videos. But Black Americans define the national mood. When we shift language, the country follows. And you know that. Everybody is saying what we say. When we shift music, the industry reorganizes. And we know that too. When we shift fashion, brands pivot. And we know that too. Corporations spend billions trying to predict what Black Americans will do next because our cultural adoption becomes mainstream adoption. We don't just influence, we set the baseline. And take, for instance, white America. When young white people adopt the cultural styles of Black people, white people blame that on us. The question that they should be asking themselves is, why do Black people have more influence over their children than they do? And we don't just roar through cultural power. We roar through political power. Black voters are the most consistent, strategic, and mobilized bloc in the country. Cities with strong Black populations, Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Houston, anchor statewide results. When Black turnout moves even a little, national political strategy changes overnight. That's not coincidence, that's power. And we roar through economic power.
There is a very, very concerted effort to make us believe that we don't have the power that we do have. And I think it's mainly because all of these other groups of people have been using it against us. The white people, the immigrants, the gays, they're all trying to use our power to benefit them and to further subjugate us. But with the delineation movement, we're taking that power back. We're calling our power back. We're standing in our power. They can't continue to treat us the way that they've been treating us. That's why there's always going to be somebody trying to put us in our place. That's what all of these news stories that we keep seeing, the young boy that was found dead in Mississippi, all of these little things, they're being pushed in order to scare us. They want us fearful. Because if they can put us back in our place, they can go back to using us against ourselves again. But we don't care. This is a train that is not going to stop moving. We're going to keep moving forward. And they can't bully us or they can't scare us into coming up off of our own power. It's just not working like that anymore.
Make and break industries. Black Americans spend over $1.7 trillion a year, but it's not just the amount, it's the pattern. When Black Americans stop supporting a brand, they feel it immediately. When we shift our dollars, marketing changes. When product lines change, entire industries adjust. Black spending is a leading indicator for the rest of the country. That's economic power. We roll through social power. We expose the system. When Black Americans protest, organize, boycott, or challenge narratives, the entire country reacts legally, politically, and culturally. We force America to confront its own contradictions. We push the country forward even when it resists, and that pressure is influence. We roar through our narrative power. We define fairness because we actually know what fairness is. Black Americans reshape how the country talks about justice, equality, opportunity, and identity. Movements led by Black Americans have changed labor rights, civil rights, policing debates, education debates, and corporate diversity policies. Even when other groups join in, the framework comes from us. Everybody else is trying to fit into the hierarchy that white Americans have set, which keeps us on the bottom. But we are not a bottom caste people. So they can have their little bottom caste and they can put anybody they want in it, and they can put anybody at the bottom and anybody at the top, but we are not in it. In our minds, we're not in your caste. So you can have your caste. We are foundational to this country. So the foundation is what's keeping the whole thing up. And that's
I didn't mean to cut her off like that. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me post a link to this video. She did a very exceptional job with this video, as she usually does. I really enjoy Lady Boulay. I don't agree with everything she says, obviously, because she says some stuff in here that I didn't agree with, but I didn't cut her off or nothing. I'll let her go. But she is completely right about everything she's saying. It's just she's pretty much just lining up all of the reasons why we have power and the reasons why people try to make it seem like we don't. It's very important that we start really understanding this power and we start utilizing it, because if we don't, we're going to keep getting the short end of the stick. Spill McKenzie says, who is that talking? Oh, let me oh no, y'all see it. It's Lady Boulay. Who is that talking? I need someone who sounds like her to get my folks off Mr. Blue, no matter who plantation. Just start dropping her videos in your group chats and things like that. But yeah, she's totally right. Let me go back to this. Oh, also, let me move this banner out the way. You still have time to donate to my Cash App, guys. It's right there. $MAJORAHMAN. All right, let's move that out the way so y'all can see. There you go. You see her name.
That's how we look at it, or that's how we ought to look at it. We roar through coalition power. We anchor multiracial movements. Black Americans are the center of gravity in multiracial coalitions. When we support a cause, other groups follow. When we oppose a policy, the narrative shifts. We're not the biggest group. We're the most influential group. Why? Because we are foundational. And lastly, we roar through psychological power. Our resilience disrupts the hierarchy that I've been talking about. This is the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Black progress destabilizes old assumptions about who should hold power. Black resilience disrupts the hierarchy. Black success challenges the narrative. That's why the country reacts so strongly to anything we do, because our movement exposes the truth about American power. This country hasn't ever been anything without Black Americans. That's why we are foundational. So all of these other people, they're just here. They're non-starters. We are the foundation, and then white people have just always been here. They're builders too, but they're not the only builders. They're not the foundational builders. There's a reason why they kept going to Africa and bringing our ancestors by the shipload back to America, even after the transatlantic slave trade had been outlawed, because they couldn't.
I'm gonna let her get that one off. But what I was gonna say is that people don't want us to have pride in building this country, because then that makes them have to confront the fact that their people didn't build their homelands, and they came here to benefit from the fact that our people put in the work. That's why it's so important for us not to let these people forget that Black Americans built this country brick by brick. We are the foundation. it being the 250th year anniversary of this country makes it even more important for us to say that. There was another news story that I found. I'm gonna let this play. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But it talked about how Black Americans built the White House. We all know that. We already know that. But the fact that it came out like I think it came out on the 4th of July. It's like on one hand, there's like an effort to try to delegitimize us. And on another hand, it's like the effort to legitimize us is going even further and it's making even more of an impact. So I don't care about the history of this country. These other countries have even a worse history than we do. As far as how they still treat their people, they treat their people even worse than we were treated during the Civil Rights Movement. And that was still in modern times. But they want to come here and try to make it seem like this country is just so terrible for us, even though we've made it possible for this country to live up to the ideals that it claims to live up to. Don't let these people play in your faces. Hey, Dante 3x, did you just walk up in here? I'm about to end the show in a second. I'm about to end the show. But yeah, let's finish what Lady Boulay has to say. Let me see if I can find that White House thing.
Do it without us. So here's the bottom line. Black America roars because Black Americans shift national power through culture, politics, economics, narratives, coalitions, and social movements. No other group moves all levers at once, not even white people. And every time we move, the country has to adjust. And that's not accidental and it's not symbolic. That's power. And that is what Shahid Bosen tries to get Black Americans to see. And once we see it, we can't unsee it. Now, our challenge is to recognize this, that we do have influence more so than any other single group. Now, white people have the military power. They have that. And they have always used it, some type of force against Black people. But that still doesn't change anything. We still have our own power and we continue to build. And America is our country and it should be helping us just like it does everybody else. But we can do a lot for self. And the stronger we get, the more we can make their racial hierarchy irrelevant to us. Everybody else can be in the hierarchy, but we're out of it. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video and have a good day.
Done?
Not yet, almost, okay? Give me 5 minutes, okay?
Okay,
I'll come get you. I know, because you came in here. All right, that was a great video. Let's move on to the White House video. This will be the last thing. I'm sorry, y'all. We didn't have the show yesterday, and I feel like I had to try to push everything into one show. But yeah, one thing that Lady Boulay said is there's a lot that we can do on our own that we need to be doing. And I think that's going to make us even stronger. And we're going to end up forcing the government to have to give us the reparations because we're going to be growing and building at a faster rate than anybody else in this country. And they're going to have to bring us into the fold somehow. Or other things can happen. Okay.
Continuing our celebration of America 250 and all the people who literally and figuratively built this country. Right now, we can exclusively share a new report from ABC News in a first of its kind collaboration with the 10 Million Names Project, an initiative dedicated to finding the names of the roughly 10 million people who were enslaved in pre- and post-colonial America. We set out to find the living descendants of the enslaved people who built the White House. Over nearly 2 years, the talented team at American Ancestors combed through hundreds of records across several states to make this happen. And it's a reveal one family.
This music in the background is dragging me. Oh my God. Is it tearing y'all up too? Oh my God, just get to it. Get to it. It's too sentimental. Just get to the information. Actually, let me speed this up too, because y'all getting on my nerves.
Never expected. Every year, millions of people from around the world visit our nation's capital. But there's a hidden history here, especially on Pennsylvania Avenue.
I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves.
Mrs. Obama exposed a fact that's often overlooked, that enslaved people's unpaid labor helped build the White House. Her comment inspired an ambitious question that for America's 250th anniversary, we set out to answer. Could we find the living descendants of the enslaved people who built the White House, an endeavor that's never been accomplished before? The genealogists at American Ancestors in Boston combed through hundreds of records across several states before finding Ashley Swain, a potential living descendant.
Hi, Ashley?
Hi, yes.
And after confirming her family's genealogy,
I'm talking to the right person. That's really great news.
we asked her and her mother Jackie to come to Washington, D.C. so we could reveal our incredible discovery.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Ashley.
Lindsay and her family.
Sidebar. Y'all see what I mean? Look. This is what I mean. I do not want to walk in a room breast first. Okay? I am not trying to walk into a room breast first. That's why I should keep myself covered. It's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you, Reparations Nation. Fair use. And she still didn't get her husband to cut the check. They love to use Black American history as like an emotional selling point to their BS. No repair, but you're all on stage getting emotional talking about it. You can really miss us with that. Because we not with that no more. We're not letting that affect us.
Our incredible discovery.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Ashley.
Lindsay and her fabulous team. They have uncovered some incredible information about one of your ancestors that is truly first of its kind. So before we get to that, just hearing that, what's going through your mind?
I just said, oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah. I think for me, it's just excitement, nervousness, all the things. It's just like, how did I get here?
Lindsay, the table is yours.
So I'm going to just share with you, if we all can just pass these down. What we want to do is make connections between each individual. So you'll see Ashley, you're on the bottom here, and then Jackie, your grandfather, Ashley, and your father, Robert Smith. This generation, James Peter Smith and Beatrice Marie Hicks. This is your first great-grandparents. Your second great-grandparents are James Hicks and Fanny Rome. Your third great-grandparents are William Hicks and Sarah E. Ambush. They're from Washington, D.C. And then your fourth great-grandfather and grandmother are Calvert Ambush and Patsy Cried.
At the top, we see Calvert Ambush. Can you please tell us the significance of this gentleman in American history?
Your fourth great-grandfather, Calvert Ambush, was one of the enslaved men who built the White House. One of the most iconic landmarks in America.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
Your great-great-great-grandfather helped build
the White House.
The White House.
Wow. I'm a little teary-eyed.
To know that you have an ancestor
my
that
goodness.
has such a significant role in our country's history.
Yes.
Is this a first for a genealogical organization to be able to link a living descendant to an enslaved individual like this who worked in the White House?
Yes, this is the first time we've been able to make the connection. It's incredible that the two of you are sitting here with me. I've been looking for you for 2 years.
I want to bring you in on the conversation here. Just give us the historical context.
And this is why I'm very, thank you for staying so long, Angelica Lena. I hope you have a great rest of your day. But yeah, this is why I'm very quick to tell people that they're not American. Because if you can't even go back at least 4 lines and tell me what your family was doing back then in America, I don't want to have any conversations with you. Please, please. If your family only started wearing shoes in the last century, please. We're not having the same conversation. We're just not. Reparation Nation says that's the size I like my women, but you work out every day, sir. But yeah, she's chest first, and that's how I'm gonna treat her. Cover that up. Dante 3X says breast first and black first. Exactly. Spud McKenzie says them YT folks was mad about this. I mean, they're mad at the truth. What else is new?
We know the original White House begun construction in 1792, but then, after the White House was burned in 1814, in 1829, President Andrew Jackson had the North Portico built. And that's when we find Calvert Ambush employed.
Oh my goodness.
Calvert Ambush, a name reclaimed, an ancestral family connection restored. We chose the Octagon Museum as the location for the reveal because of its connection to their ancestor story. Professor Vince Brown took us to the basement where the original slave quarters from the 1800s are still intact.
Calvert Ambush's story doesn't end with slavery. He was freed. He was emancipated by another former slave named John Freeman, who was his uncle. And John Freeman lived in this house when James Madison was president, in this basement.
The Bill of Sale and Deed of Trust records show that John Freeman took out a loan for $620 to buy his nephew's freedom. And that was a lot of money. That was a lot of money.
So when you talk about family, taking care of family,
that's it.
People struggling right, to better their condition, this is that story.
Oh, wow.
Now, after discovering how their ancestor contributed to its construction, Ashley and Jackie are seeing the White House and its grand North Portico for the first time.
It feels unreal. It feels unreal. I think just even looking at it and understanding more of the history behind it.
I feel it right now. I got the chills. I won't walk past it again either without stopping here thinking about him.
It was a years-long journey to be able to make this connection for Ashley and her family. We were even able to show Ashley.
That is a very incredible story, but it also, no, this clip, Nancel, this came out 3 days ago. This clip came out 3 days ago on the 4th. So it's very important that people do their genealogy. Like I've shown y'all some of my records on live before. It's important for us to do our genealogy. We were here. We've been here. There's people that can go back 13 lines. And I wish that I could go back that far, but it's very, very important that we are able to trace our history and know that we were here this whole time. These new people can't tell us nothing. And it's very, very dangerous for them to be able to be in our politics, being able to make decisions when they have no idea what this country is, what it was built to be, and who it was built by. Reparation Nation says, I've traced mine to 1751 on both sides. I'm FBA all day. I hear that. And Reparation Nation says, LOL, I mess with smaller women too, but it's something about them plumpness that gets me every time. Listen, that's why I enjoy being a plump woman. And that's why it took me a long time to start trying to get back into shape after having Amina. But yeah, it's a lot of safety and security with a bigger woman and being a bigger woman. So I understand what you mean by that. Nancel Speak says, just the fact that they're using hidden history shows they have been watching us. Listen, we, just like Lady Boulay said, we make everybody adjust to what we're doing. That, and I'm going to repeat it. That's why it's so important for us to be in control. And that means control of everything, our economics, our own story. We cannot let people be in our politics, being in control, having a say-so in what the things that we do, because we are very unlike everybody else in this country. We have earned the right to be in control. Spud McKenzie says, I sent you a video of the YT folks hating on that video. This will be the last thing we watch, y'all. I gotta go. I got ballet in an hour and a half. Oh, I didn't even see this other stuff you sent me. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow because I really want to get into the boycott. Yeah, I really want to get into the boycott. So we're going to talk about that stuff tomorrow.
Look at what ABC's doing. I'm using this under the Fair Use Act, by the way. This is news on the TV screen. Oh, fake news. I'm using it under the Fair Use Act.
How is it
don't
fake
delete
news?
This video, but look at this is 4th of July, Saturday morning, July 4th, 2026. And look at what fucking ABC is making their program this morning about. Not tributes to guys like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves. They're making this, and not just freed the slaves, but built the country. George Washington was an incredible person. What he did on the battlefield is just unbelievable. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. But they're making their program today about slaves who helped build the White House. That's what these virtue signaling motherfuckers are doing. Paying tribute to the people that are currently wreaking havoc on this country right now. And we do everything to.
Okay, I gotta stop you. How are we wreaking havoc on the country? I go live at 1:30 every day, unless I let y'all know that I don't. But most times it's 1:30. About 90% of the time we're going live at 1:30 every day. But what havoc are we wreaking on the country? What havoc are we wreaking on the country? Please if I don't know, please let me know. Because as far as I know, crime is down.
Appease them, and I'm not being a racist right now.
Yes,
I'm just saying, what are we paying tribute to them for on this day?
He's talking about I'm not being a racist. Why are we paying tribute to fellow Americans on the 250th anniversary of this country? People that built the literal White House. Why are we paying tribute to the people who did that? That is crazy.
Implying on this fucking program that blacks built this country. That's what they're doing on the 250th anniversary on ABC. That's why this is all part of the Democrat propaganda machine. That's why we need to do away with their licenses. All their licenses need to be pulled, their broadcast licenses, because they're nothing but propaganda for the Democrat Party, which has now become the globalist socialist party. Let me tell you something about that, by the way. The globalists and socialists will never win in this country without being one of the two major parties or taking over one of the two major parties. They know that. Our weak spot, our Trojan horse in this country is the Democrat Party. Okay? They have taken it over. And it's because of what higher education has spit out, the garbage and filth they've spit out, that they have been able to take over that party. And look at this. George Stephanopoulos was a fucking enforcer against the women who Bill Clinton went after. I'm not going to say more because I don't want this pulled. We know what Bill Clinton did to a bunch of women. George Stephanopoulos was a piece of shit who was used as an enforcer and an intimidator.
All right. Anyways, they're really mad that Black Americans are overcoming the usual narrative about this country because we're the ones with the actual power. So what we say is going. They can complain and they can bitch about it if they want to. But at the end of the day, the power is going back in our hands. And these people are mad about it. They're not going to be able to take it away from us once it has all been returned. Because like I've been saying, everything is coming right back to its rightful owners, no matter what they say. Nancy L. Speak says, we're fighting them back and killing them. That's the havoc. Exactly. Reparation Nation says, being FBA is wreaking havoc by just being alive to them. Spud McKenzie says, he going off script now. Yeah, that's why I had to. These people, they stay in their little white supremacist message boards, just sending conspiracy theories back and forth, and it's all nonsense. I don't care about what Bill Clinton did with George Stephanopoulos. I don't care about that. This is true. This is true history. Slaves built the White House. And there's credible resources to that fact. He's just mad because he doesn't want to confront that fact, because it ruins this narrative that slaves were just stupid and they were just what do they like to say slavery was? Outdated farm equipment or some stupid stuff like that. It's not true. It's not true. Dante 3x says, we are the true Masonic Freemasonry builders that the so-called founding fathers wished that they were. We are the foundation that built this nation. And I love that they hate it. I love it too, because it really destroys everything that they put on a pedestal in their brains. It completely destroys it. Being confronted with the truth is like poison to them. Red 6 says, why do dusty white people get so mad when we are recognized? Because it's that narrative. They can't, the narrative that they've been pushing is being exposed for being a lie. Because if we're standing in our truth and in our power, all the lies become exposed. Spell McKenzie says FBA rent free in their brains. Nancel Speak says, I think those white boys killing that black boy over the weekend was retaliation for that white boy Carmelo Anthony pieced up. We're gonna see a lot of that. We're gonna see a lot of retaliation. We just have to be really smart about how we move going forward. The fact that this boy was with 6 white boys by himself on a boat, we got to be smarter than that. We got to be smarter than that. I'm not blaming his parents or anything like that. I'm blaming those boys. But at the end of the day, we have to be smarter. We definitely have to be smarter. I saw something like his stepmom is like a politician or something like that. That makes the whole story even weirder for me. But this was a great show today. Thank you for everybody that came in and made themselves seen in the chat. We were on here for 3 hours. Oh my God, I really have to go. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you so much. We'll be back here tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. If I don't see y'all in the tweets, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.